Okay, so let us start by lying down on your back, and lie down to make yourself comfortable. We're going to be there for about 5 or 6 minutes before we get into our first posture. So if you like to put a bolster underneath the knees, you can, or you can just bend the knees with the soles of the feet on the floor. You might like to have a blanket or a pillow underneath the head. That's always nice. And whatever your day has been so far, this is the time where you can start to relax, start to let go of any tension or tightness that may be building up in your body and also the mind. And find a steady rhythm of breath that feels comfortable and easy for you. You don't need to focus on the breath too much. You don't need to judge or criticize the breath, but just observe it coming in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. And then once you feel that your breath is in a comfortable rhythm, breath in, breath out, equal lengths, that's our samavriti breath. No effort, no force required. Start to feel connected to the earth. So start to really feel all points of your back body and what points of contact there are on your mat. And you might like to start from the back of the skull and move down the body towards the feet. So it's almost a back body scan. And move down the body with the breath. So if you notice there's a little bit of tightness anywhere, use your exhale to let go, release, soften. And that tension might be found in the hips, or the spine, or the legs, or the feet, or the neck, or the shoulders, or it might be into the muscles. So you notice how the muscles feel, but also how the joints feel. And our practice today is Yin Yoga for flexibility. So we will be looking at gaining further flexibility in the connective tissue around some of the larger muscle groups on the back of the body, but also flexibility into the hip joints, the spine, and the shoulder joints. So always remind yourself, whenever you come to the mat, to take your practice as it comes on that day, not maybe your practice was yesterday or last week. If you've completed the body scan of your back body, just return back to observing that samavriti breath, the inhales and exhales of equal length. And notice now if you feel a little bit more comfortable, relaxed in the mind and the body. Take a deep breath in as you lift the arms up and over the head, interlacing the fingers. Give yourself a big stretch. Reach the legs away from you. Stretch through the tops of the feet, the toes, and reach the arms back and give yourself a big stretch into the face. Open up the mouth and stretch the eyes open. Stretch the forehead, the cheeks. And then release that stretch and soften back into full Shavasana. So let the arms come back down by the side of the body and gently draw the knees in towards the chest as you start to roll out through the spine. So here, just start to feel your back body again moving underneath you. It's a massage. So you can feel the back of the pelvis, sides of the waist. You might feel the upper and the middle back. You might feel the shoulder blades. You might like to circle those knees a little bit wider, getting a little bit more circle into the hips, and make sure that you go the other way. Then opening the knees outwards and then introducing little circles here. So maybe the knees go out and then they come in. And just notice how the hip joint, that ball and socket, respond to those rotations and come back the other way. So squeezing the thighs in towards the chest and then circling the opposite way. So for practice today, you're going to need probably a strap and 2 blocks, maybe a bolster or some cushions, but place the soles of the feet down hip width apart and just lift up the tailbone as you release the entire back down onto the mat once more. And start to feel all 10 toes spreading out here. So the toes aren't clenching up, but they are nice and spread and relaxed. And you can feel the ball of the foot. You can feel the heel of the foot. And soften then into the shins, the calves, the knees, the thighs, and the back of the legs. Feel the weight dropping down in towards the hips and the pelvis. And take the arms out to the side of you, maybe at shoulder height. And just drop the knees. Keep the feet where they are. Drop the knees over to the right. So you're rolling over onto the outer edges of your feet. If you like here, you can take the gaze to your left palm. So you give the neck a little stretch. So the head goes one way, knees go the other. Just stay there for a moment. Breathing into any tight areas, exhaling to release. Bring everything back into center at once as you breathe in. So knees and head come back into the center. Make sure you feel all 10 toes, balls of the feet. Realign the hips and the pelvis, lengthening the tailbone. So feel the whole spine once more. Drop the knees over to the left. You're simply rolling onto the outer and inner edges of the foot. And then lift the head and turn towards the right palm if that feels comfortable for the neck. So just trying to soften into that top leg, the right thigh, right hip. Let the leg become heavier. And then everything comes back into center as you breathe in. So knees and head come back into center. This time we use it with the breath. So exhale, head goes left, knees go right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, knees go left, head goes right. Inhale, bring everything back into center. Let's do that a few more times, moving with the flow of your breath. Try and slow everything down. Slower breaths, slower movements, keeping the feet exactly where they are, just rolling knees to left and right. So you're getting a little bit of a spinal rotation all the way through the spine, from right down at the lower lumbar, right up to the cervical spine in the neck. And last time, make sure that you go right and left equally. And returning back into center, everything together. And let's take our reclined butterfly here. So as I say, you've got some options. You can take the simple version with no props. Soles of the feet come together, knees go out to the side. If you like, you can always use your blocks, placing those underneath the knees. So that just gives you a little bit of support there. The arms can stay on to the belly if you like, with the elbows relaxed down by the side, or arms out to the side of you. Let's stay here for 3 minutes. So notice what may have happened to the back body as you have opened those knees and opened up the hip joints here. Notice how much of your spine has come away from the mat. A slight lordosis, an arching, a natural arching through the lower lumbar. Notice if you have tilted your chin up towards the sky or tilted it down towards the chest. Make sure the neck is long and the upper back is spread out, so the shoulder blades are still fully connected and not pinching in towards one another. The feet don't have to be too close in towards the body, so if you feel that they're a little bit close, just make sure that you take those a bit further away from the buttocks. Relaxing into the hips, hip flexors, and also not forgetting the glutes. Soften through the buttocks. Take a deep breath in. Deep exhale out, and then the hands come to the thighs to lift the legs together. Try not to let the hips do the work, but the hands. Take the feet nice and wide of your mat. Drop the knees together and relax into the inner groin. And the hip flexors there. Toes turn in slightly, pigeon-toed. Heels turn out. So really allow this constructive rest after your reclined butterfly to be soft. And then heel toe the feet into parallel. And taking hold of a belt or a strap if you have one handy, or a piece of clothing even. I'm going to take that over our right sole of our foot for our hamstring stretch. So bend the knee nice and soft at the back of the knee so that the thigh drops down towards the belly. That's it. So if you aren't using a strap, you can hold on to the back of the calf, or you can hold on to the thigh. Okay. So from here, just drop the thigh, keep dropping thigh, bending into the knee. And we're going to try to keep the thigh as close to the chest and the belly as possible. When you exhale, start to think about the toes going back over the head, not up towards the sky. That's when you're going to start to feel the stretch coming into the back of your leg, the back of the knee. If you go too far, just soften a little bit more, drop the knee down towards the armpit. So really try to draw that thigh in as close as you can towards the belly and the chest. Each exhale, think about those toes going back over the head. Once you feel that you're in a place where you'd like to stay, that is your hamstring stretch. So we're going to hold there. Foot does not need to be pointed or flexed. Relax in through all of the back of the leg. So really now isolate into the hamstrings and the connective tissue surrounding the hamstrings. Intensifying the stretch, intensifying the challenge. You stretch the left leg out fully along the mat. So we're here for 3 minutes, so try not to hold on to the strap or a belt too tightly because your hands will get numb. Try to pull the hands all the way down to the end of the piece of clothing, right down by the belly so the elbows can relax by the side of the body. Great. This is your reclined leg stretch, number 1. Each exhale relaxes, releases, lets go even more. Remind yourself not to tense up elsewhere in the body. You want to be comfortable, relaxed, whilst you're holding this posture. If you feel gripping creeping back in, Use the exhale. Continue to soften and relax. Taking a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, bend the knee. Take the strap or the belt away and release the legs all the way down the mat. Take a moment just to allow that reaction from that right leg. And you might even feel that that leg is a little bit longer than the left. Bend both knees back in. Place the right sole down and left knee comes in towards the chest. Do exactly the same on the left. So keep the thigh in towards the chest and the belly, taking hold of your strap or belt or clothing. And then start to extend from the back of the knee as you breathe out. And almost imagine those toes are going back over the head, not towards the sky. This is not going to do you any favors by extending the leg and keeping it way out here. It's going to be far more beneficial to you if you keep that thigh in towards the chest and simply extend from the knee only. Try and soften into it once more. 3-minute hold here. Foot does not have to be flexed or pointed. Everything is relaxed. And we're focusing on the connective tissue of the back of that leg. You might notice already that one side feels a little bit tighter or looser than the other. Intensifying the challenge is releasing that right leg all the way along the mat. And if tremors start to come in and you feel that the leg is shaking, just bend the knee. Soften at the back of the knee. Drop the thigh towards the chest. It's going to save those tremors immediately. So you are holding the leg up by your strap only. If you were to let go of the strap, the leg would fall. If you struggle to extend the leg at all, just keep the knee pulled in towards the chest. Bend at the knee. That's it. And the visualization here is really imagining that those toes are going way back over the top of your head. Continuing to breathe for the last 30 seconds. Doing great. Taking that deep breath in and deep breath out. Bend at the knee, soften slowly. Release the strap or the belt and send that left leg all the way along the mat for recovery. Now notice if right and left feel a little bit more balanced, a little bit more equal in length. Wiggle the toes, move the ankles a little bit, and then bring the knees back in towards the chest as you roll and massage out. So just a little bit of an exercise here is coming up into a dead bug, so extending the legs up towards the sky. And again, if you can try to keep the ankles or the heels above the hips, try not to take them too far away. You might need to bend at the knee. That's okay. But feel that those legs are really heavy and all of the weight is coming down into the hips and down into the pelvis and the spine. Circle the feet and the ankles and let us come into pontoon. So I'll give you the option here of pontoon either with a block or a bolster. Bolsters are a little bit more comfortable, but I'm going to go second level, so medium level of my block. If you like, you can go lowest level. The block comes directly underneath the flattest part of your sacrum and your pelvis. The buttocks come over the edge, and here, this is your supported bridge pose. So soles of the feet are down and you're dropping the weight in towards the block. And if you're new to this, you might feel that the block, digs in a little bit, but make sure that that's right under the flattest part of the pelvis and it's not digging into the hips or the spine. And you can stay here just for a moment. The arms might come above the head into cactus, but make sure you spread those shoulder blades. They're not pinching together. And if you want to come into pontoon, you extend the right and the left legs all the way along the mat. So this is where you give all of the weight from the hips and the pelvis into the prop. So it's a very, very passive gravitational back bend. So we're stretching out the front of the body here, the psoas, the hip flexors, and the quadriceps. It's a very open posture here for pontoon, but you really want to give all of the weight into that prop. So it's a little bit more comfortable with a bolster. You kind of nestle into it. Feel the release across the hip flexors and the abdominals. And take that deep breath in. Deep breath out, arms come back down by the side of the body. And then you walk the right and you walk the left foot back. Just stay in your supported bridge for one moment. Give all the weight into the pelvis. Then press through the feet. Gently lift the hips and take that prop away. Slowly roll down, shoulders, upper back, middle back, really bringing each and every vertebra down slowly. Take a moment there just to recover, taking that block away. You'll feel the difference. And then gently draw the knees in. Roll and massage out. Give the spine a little bit of a release, circling the knees around one way and the other. So let's roll over to the side and gently press yourself up and come to tabletop. So find the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and this is just where we take a very, very slow mobilization through the spine, through cat and cow. I want you to really slow this down. So this is all back body focused. So exhaling, slowly rounding into cat. And inhaling, releasing belly, releasing lower back into cow. Slow, slow, slow. And your visualization here is imagining all of the spine rippling, one vertebra after each other. And then take a few that are a little bit faster paced. And start to circle out the hips. So coming forward to the wrists as you breathe in, exhaling, pulling the hips back to child's pose. So do 3 or 4 of those circles one way and then change direction. Exhaling, you're pulling the hips back to the heels. And let's come into child's pose from here. So you might like to widen the knees a little bit. Bring the big toes to touch. Exhale, reach the buttocks back towards the heels. Give yourself that wiggle room. Head might go on the hands or the block. And relax down. Melt the chest. So here, just breathe into the back body. All the way from the middle fingernail through the back of the hands, forearms, upper arms, back of the head, shoulder blades, all the way down the spine to the sacrum, the pelvis, and not forgetting to relax into the toes and the feet. Keep the mind present and focused. Try not to let it wander at all, but really come into that visualization of the back of your body. A deep breath in, lift the head, and as you breathe out, just start to walk the hands slowly, slowly, slowly. Take your time, don't come up too soon. Take yourself all the way to the back of the mat into kneeling and allow the head to be the last thing that rolls up. Relax the shoulders. Feel the spine nice and long. Relax into the hips. And let's slide forward all the way onto the belly. Bring the hands underneath the forehead and just big toes touch as you sway out through the spine. So we soften the belly here, really relax the buttocks. Give all of your weight into the mat. So let us focus on our back extensions here. So coming into Sphinx first of all. Again, back body, so back extension. So forearms placed nicely in front of the shoulders, middle finger driving forward. You really want to be able to drop as much weight as you can through the buttocks, the hips, and the pelvis. Legs are relaxed, feet are soft. And you're pressing through the forearms to keep the chest lifted. So the ears aren't dropping down between the shoulders. You are pressing away, and the ears get further and further away from the shoulders or the collarbones. And the visualization here is, again, your back body. So almost visualize everything that your body is doing in this posture. Imagine that you are going underneath the skin, looking at all the connective tissue that can work to keep you in this posture. Not forgetting the skeletal system and the bones and joints that keep you here as well in Sphinx. Keep mind present and focused to the task at hand. Try not to let your mind wander to other places, other thoughts. widening the elbows as you slowly take that roll down through the belly, the rib cage, and the chest. Head comes to the back of the hands. Big toes touch and exhale as you release. Just to finish off our back extensions, our seal. So you can take your seal ripples. Hands come to the top corners of your mat, nice and spread with the fingers. We're going to push up and maybe you come to straight arms. The further the hands are away from you, the easier this is. And widen the elbows as you roll down. So do that nice and slowly with the breath. Rippling up, breathing in. And breathing out, rolling down. If you like more challenge, bring those hands a little bit closer towards the body. And just 2 more ripples, and the last one will come up and stay. Good. And then coming up, let's stay for 1 minute. So arms are out in front of you. Try to get straight arms if you can. So the hips are down. You're almost in an L shape. Shoulders are away from ears. The ears are not collapsing into the neck. Drop the pelvis as much as you can here. Legs are heavy. Hips are heavy. Beautiful. Seal pose. A few more breaths. We're just here for 1 minute. Nice and slowly widen the elbows as you roll the belly, rib cage, and the chest down. Head comes to the back of the hands. Big toes touch, relax and sway out. Take your time pushing yourself back through tabletop. And do what you need to come out of those back extensions. Maybe it is a cat and a cow. Notice if the back seems a little bit freer. We've got a forward fold and a twist to come. So swinging the legs around in front of you for caterpillar. Choosing to use a bolster maybe underneath the knees, and you can always sit on a block or the legs go straight. Remember, bend the knees if you feel a little bit too tight, but give yourself that wiggle room underneath the buttocks so you get the flesh away from the sit bones. Create length between the belly and the thighs as you fold, and you might like to support the head with blocks as well. Many options in a caterpillar. So here we let the head hang heavy, relax, give all of the weight into the forward fold. Deep, slow, long, focused breaths. Shoulders are relaxed. And here, again, breathe into the back body. So that's the back of the legs, all the way from the Achilles, right up to the top of the hamstrings. Breathing into the glutes and breathing into the spine and the back of the neck.
As you're here and the time passes, try to remain focused and present. Notice what you need to do to make the pose comfortable and easy to hold. Find the stillness in body and mind and work towards your edge. And take that deep breath in. Deep breath out. Soften just a little bit more and then start to walk the hands back towards the hips as you unroll. Always take the time to come out of these folds to avoid any dizziness. Last thing to come up is the crown of the head, bringing the head nice and level. Sit nice and tall, feel the length of the spine. Let's do a little counter pose. Hands come back behind you and we just bring the feet in and just stretch the chest open. Come back into center. Rock the knees right and left. Windscreen wiper those over. So, swinging the legs around behind you, having the blocks handy. Let's come in to our twisted dragon. This is our peak pose. So we've got a twist and hip flexor and hamstring stretch. So find your dragon pose first of all. Right foot comes forward. And you can always use your bolster underneath the back thigh as well to drop into. So find your dragon first of all. And then take the twist. You can either bring the left arm just over the knee and the right hand just goes to the sacrum and you just look down towards the floor. So you're going to drop into the right side, twisting towards the right thigh. Nice. Yeah, so don't go too deep too soon because we're here for a couple of minutes. Feel everything that's going on in the posture. You have a spinal rotation. You have a hip flexor stretch, quadricep stretch. You are doing great. This was our peak pose. Deepening the rotation. If you wish to intensify and challenge for the last minute, relax through the face, give yourself a smile. And gently bring the hands back. Keep nice and low if you can. And then gently pull the hip back towards the heel, just lifting that front toes of the right foot, digging into the heel, and just release over the thigh. Come into a relaxed half monkey. That's your recovery pose. So coming into the opposite side. Left foot comes forward. Find the dragon first of all. Make sure that feels comfortable. And then right hand just slides over. And that's why we have these blocks. You can always place the fingertips on the blocks, and then your left hand goes behind the sacrum. 2 minutes here. Dropping hips, getting those hips, pelvis really nice and heavy towards the earth, and deepening into the spinal rotation as and when you wish. You are doing great. We are almost there. Find those last few breaths in this twisted dragon. Giving the exhale deeper release, letting go towards the earth. Nice and slowly release the hands. Bring them back to center. Try and stay nice and low in that dragon. And then gently pull yourself back. So hips start pulling back towards the back of the mat, and you just release over the front thigh into that half monkey for recovery. So just release gently. Take the blocks to one side and give yourself that little cat and cow, circling out the hips. What's quite nice here is, oh, hello, what are you doing? Oh, I feel my feet are going to get attacked. What's quite nice here is, I was going to say, is dropping the hips forward into these like soft upward facing dogs, and then pulling back. Hi, sweetie. So again, back body is back extension and flexion. So now he's playing with my strap. Okay, let us come back down onto our backs. This time I'll give you the option again, blocks or bolster. I'm going to go blocks for your supported fish. And you can choose the option of, center spine or wide, whatever feels most comfortable. Hello? No. I feel like I'm going to get attacked if I lie down. I think it's because I said fish. So coming into your supported fish, either with the bolster or with the blocks. We're here for about 5 minutes in this one. So make sure that whatever props you choose, they are comfortably placed. If you like, you might go back into your reclined butterfly with the legs, soles of the feet together, knees go out to the side. And maybe you bring those heels in a little bit closer to the body this time to see if you've got any further flexibility into the hips and the inner groin. Giving the prop your entire body weight. This is a gravitational posture, just as a pontoon is. And your visualization here is the opening of the front body and the release of the back body. So allowing the rib cage to mold itself over your chosen prop. Taking that deep breath in, that deep breath out. Take the hands to the thighs, lift the legs together. Take a moment in constructive rest before pressing into the palms and the forearms to look along the body, and then lengthen the feet away to take your props away. Roll all the way down onto your back. Come down into Shavasana and feel that there's no props there at all. Spread the spine out underneath you. Give yourself a little shimmy and a shake. Let's do About 1 or 2 minutes in banana asana, so shuffling the shoulders over to the top right corner of the mat, arms lift up above the head, you take hold of the left wrist, and your feet go to the bottom edge of the right corner of your mat, crossing left ankle over right. So if you were to look at yourself from above, you would be in a beautiful crescent moon shape or a banana. Got Wesley doing a banana asana with my yoga belt. Try and soften through the left side and the left back side of the body. So the left shoulder, left rib cage, left buttock, left hip, left thigh. And inhale, bring the arms, the head, the shoulders back, release the left foot. Come back into Shavasana for recovery before going to the other side. Shuffling shoulders over to the left corner, lifting the arms up, taking hold of the right wrist, and placing right ankle over left. Softening into the right side here. So right arm, right shoulder, right rib cage, right waist, right hip, right thigh. Taking that deep breath in. Deep breath out, bring the shoulders back, head back, arms back, release the hands down by the side of the body, release the right foot, and exhale for your recovery in Shavasana. And let's do anything you like or you need to do before you come into final relaxation. So if that is simply drawing the knees in towards the chest and rolling out, you might like to go back to that windscreen wiper twist that we did at the beginning. But just do whatever feels good now to prepare. And make sure that when you do come into your Shavasana, you're going to be comfortable for about 5 to 7 minutes and also warm. So you might like to put a blanket on or bolsters underneath the knees, eye pillows. Make sure that we return back to that place where we started to feel the back body. So full connection. Make sure that the middle and the upper back are nicely spread and the shoulder blades are spread out. They're not pinching in towards one another. And the neck is long. The chin isn't lifting or dipping. Back of the skull is evenly placed. It's not over to the left or over to the right. And the backs of the hands are down onto the mat and the fingertips are just curling gently towards the palm. And feel how heavy now the belly, the spine, the hips and the pelvis and legs can really become. as you soften and let go, relaxing all muscle contraction, tension into the joints, and prepare for your Shavasana as you remain present and focused. I'll leave you for those few minutes of precious silence at the end of your day and let you know when it's time to come back around. Take a deeper breath in. Slow, long, deep breath out. Bring your awareness back into your surroundings. Feeling the back body connecting towards the earth as you start to bring some movement into the fingers and the wrists. Moving the head left and right. Wiggling toes, moving ankles. And then bending at the knee and just sweeping the knees left and right as you balance on the heels. And then gently bring right and left knees in towards the chest. As you lengthen the tailbone, spread the waists, spread the spine, spread the shoulder blades. Rolling over to one side, take your time to press yourself up to seated. Don't come up too quickly. And return to butterfly pose, soles of the feet together. Bring the hands into the heart center, Anjali Mudra. Eyes are closed, face relaxed. Spine is long. Feeling the sit bones grounding you to the earth and the outer edges of the feet. Take a check in, that little body scan, the back body, from the back of the skull right down through the shoulders, the spine, the buttocks, the back of the legs, all the way to the feet. And always thanking yourself for your practice, your body, your mind, and I thank you. Namaste.